y'all, welcome and welcome back. Today I have more of your own stories to read, so let's get into it. Also, if you have any stories you'd like for me to read, please send them to the email in the description and just put YouTube in that subject line so I know where to read them. The first story is about a haunted holler in Kentucky. My now husband and I both have felt and seen what we believe is the Hatman. This story takes place in October of 2009. My husband and I stayed the night at the in-laws. At around 3 in the morning, I felt the temperature drop and then I felt the evil eyes watching me. I look up and there's the Hatman standing by my bed. I was frozen in fear and screamed. So after I woke up the house, it seemed it wasn't an intruder. We all decided it was a ghost. So the Hatman is said to not really be harmful. So I wonder if there was something else there and the Hatman was trying to protect you. Could be. Some of my videos may have caused sleep paralysis, so sorry. Don't be mad. I'm so sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Probably shouldn't have smiled while I said that. Looks like I definitely did it on purpose. I really enjoy your videos and I watch them to sleep. Honestly, may have contributed to this. For starters, until a couple of days ago, I've never had any paranormal experiences. I've lived in Kansas and it's not a very active state. However, this episode shook me to my core. I was laying on my left side in a fetal position, even though I usually lay on my right. Somehow I felt unsafe having my back turned to the rest of my room. That night, my dogs also refused to sleep in my room with me, even though they usually insist upon it. It was around 2:30 in the morning and I had just woken up from a weird dream when I realized I couldn't move. It was like my whole body weighed 1,000 pounds. Upon realizing this, I tried to stay calm, but failed as I heard scratching on my bed right next to my head. I knew that my dogs were not in the room with me, and I was about to open my eyes when I felt a pair of scalding hot hands hold my eyelids closed. I was trying my best to ignore it and was praying in my head as this thing slowly started laying on top of me. It sort of felt like when your dog puts its whole body weight on you. The second this thing laid on me, my whole body felt tingly as if all of my limbs were asleep. I tried everything I could to lift my head, and eventually I was slowly able to wake myself up even though I still felt heavy. I was slowly able to slur the words, "In the name of Christ, I command you to leave the room." The second I said this, I felt the presence in my room leave and I opened my eyes again. I decided to walk downstairs even though my limbs still felt a little heavy. I didn't want to be in that place any longer. The second I swung my legs over the side of the bed, I felt a hand claw into my Achilles tendon. The pain was absolutely excruciating, which is odd because I usually can't feel pain in my dreams. But this felt real. The dream ended after the claw let go and I was about to nurse my wound. When I woke up for real, everything was back to normal. No weird presence, no pressure, no weird sounds, no nothing. I'm asking for your help on what this was. I don't know if I need to cleanse my area because I'm not entirely sure if it was all in my head or not. I do have 2 mirrors facing my bed, which I plan on moving the second I get home from the road trip to Michigan. I'll update you if anything weird happens, but some advice on what to do on this thing would be appreciated. So yeah, step number 1 would definitely be for me to move those mirrors or cover them. If you want to keep them where they are, just put a blanket over them at night. But yes, I would recommend cleansing your space. I'm not saying that, my videos caused it, but I do know there's a lot of energy behind the stories that get sent to me. Some of them are really dark, and that energy can in turn lower your vibrations and make you more open to more things. You know what I mean? So it's never a bad idea to cleanse. I always recommend it. So I actually have an update from that story. It all started last night when I kept hearing something breathing in my ear. I originally thought it was my dog, but then I realized he wasn't in my room. Then I thought it was the fan and went to sleep, but something that happened tonight has changed my thinking. Today my friend and I were on call, we still are as I'm writing this, and we decided to download a spirit box app for fun. I now realized that was a stupid idea, but we started messing with it and originally got stuff like go away, leave, and close the closet. But for some reason we pressed on. I got creeped out, but my friend decided to keep talking, and eventually a spirit of what she thought was a little girl came through to her. She got freaked out and stopped, but not before she said, "sad." After that, I went back on the app and I asked if it was the thing that was breathing in my ear, and it said, "guilty." I was originally freaked out, but then it said things like, "beside you" and "angel." And I felt warmth on my right shoulder, which led me to believe that something was in fact protecting me. This was until my friend sent me a series of text messages because I told her not to talk about them out loud since she lives in Appalachia. The following texts are what she sent to me. The friend. "Something's on your side. It's a girl or a woman. I heard it. It whispered." Follower. "Did it say anything?" Friend. "Hey." Follower. "Oh, okay. I kept hearing footsteps." Friend. "Something tapped my window. Did you just yawn?" Follower. "No." Friend. "You're joking." Follower. "No, I didn't yawn." Friend. Like, this that came from you is messing with the energy. My eyes are messing with me. Follower. What do you mean? Friend. I'm just paranoid. Follower. Yeah, I think this is freaking you out. Friend. I think so. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Follower. It's gonna be okay. They can't mess with you unless you acknowledge them. What? Friend. Hell no. Hell no. Follower. What happened? Friend. Someone's cuddling me. I swear. Follower. What? What do you mean? Does it feel tingly or do you feel weight? Friend. I heard someone breathe out and I'm feeling warmth on my arm. Follower. Yeah, I'm hearing footsteps. Friend. Because I'm trying to send it back to you. Follower. LMAO. Friend. Your video in the background laughed. Follower. What? Friend. Right. Follower. I don't have a video in the background. Friend. Well, shit. I put my hand in the air and gravity pointed my hand to where I keep seeing things. Hell to the no. Follower. Oh my lord. Friend. Well, now my closet light is on. I don't know when that turned on. After she texted me these things, we then concluded that I had passed things on to her because I wasn't feeling any negative energy anymore. We also concluded that this app was actually talking to her through me. She was feeling extremely compelled to go back on the app and I told her not to listen, but she did it anyways. It said things like in the closet and I want to stay. After this incident, she began praying and begging whatever it was to leave her house. In addition to ignoring this, she said she will be cleansing her home and I will be locking my phone and cleansing my room. What should we do? Y'all gotta cleanse, y'all gotta cleanse. Cleanse, lock your phones, lock your screens. Cover the mirrors. Ugh. What's going on in the closets? I don't like it. Just cleanse that as well. Ugh, I don't like that. Let's get on to the next story. I walked into the kitchen in my home, and then I did what I needed to do, and I felt something watching me. I tried to put it off and continued what I did, and then I was walking up to my room, and I got to the stairs, and then looked to the stairs as I was walking up, and I see a red figure. It was staring back at me, and then I noticed its eyes. They were red. And I look around the eyes, and they were brownish red. It hasn't came anytime since, but I still don't know where or what it was from. I would like some advice about it, but I don't know if it's really that big of a deal. I don't know what it was. That sounds scary. If it hasn't happened in a while or nothing's happened since, I wouldn't really worry about it. It was probably just something passing through. But if you've had activity since then, you could cleanse your space. But things just pass through sometimes. It's really not anything to be concerned about. Story number 4. Is this a mimic? I want to start off this story by saying my mother is a witch. When we first moved into my house, I was around 5. I remember her blessing it, and the energy felt fine. No passings other than a few childhood pets, which had a proper funeral. My mother and I practice witchcraft, and I think it's safe to say that our house is protected. Though around the time that this happened, I was expecting a lot of negativity in my life. Stupid school drama. This was around April or May of this year, so it was recent, and has stuck in my mind. So this is not the first time it's happened. I've heard my mother call my name in the dead of night a year or two ago, so it's not often, but it's happened. I've also heard people whispering my nickname only my parents call me. It's around 4 in the morning when this happened. My bedroom is on the 2nd floor. I wake up and around 10 seconds later, I hear a furious scream. It sounds like my mother, filled with the most anger I've ever heard in my life. The weird part about it is though it sounded like it was in my head. It was as quiet as a whisper and I heard it echoing in my head. It was somehow as loud as a scream though. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. If you aren't, just imagine a loud scream in your head, and that's what it sounded like. Confused and half asleep, I get up and walk downstairs. When I get to the foot of the stairs, I don't see anyone. My mother's a loud snorer and sleeps in the basement with my dad. She snores so loud that you can hear her from upstairs. I hear her snoring, clearly in a deep sleep, along with my dad. She talks in her sleep, but never louder than a whisper, and obviously my dad right next to her would have woken up. I went back upstairs and fell asleep easily, as I wasn't really even fully awake in the first place. I woke up and told my parents, and they shrugged it off. I want to inquire about what this could possibly be. I'm not as experienced as you, clearly, and this has been eating away at me. So if this has happened a few times, it very well could be a mimic. That was going to be my first question. That's usually the first thing I ask people if they think they have a mimic is, has this happened more than once? Because mimics, obviously, because of the name, mimic, but other things can mimic as well, and they're not as serious. But the fact that it has happened, it's a possibility that it is. So the best thing you can do is ignore it. There are things you can do to lessen your experiences, but from myself and everyone else, I know that ignoring it really helps. And that's probably why you've had such few instances if you have ignored it. But yeah, mimics are gross. I hate them. I hate them so much. Let's get into another story. This all happened around a year ago. I live in the middle of a city in a small high-rise building. I don't know when it began, but ever since we got to our new and current flat, I often hear my mother calling me, but it's never been her. It's always her voice, but it sounds hollow and distant in a way. However, whenever I hear it, I just call back because my mom's calling me. I remember walking towards the voice a handful of times and asking why she called me, but she's always said she never did. Until I started ignoring her voice since I thought it was just my mind filling the void with something I heard at the time, as if someone is calling my name. I only now realized while writing this, once I started ignoring it, it started changing voices. I hear random classmates' voices calling me from local convenience stores, but nobody's in there. I hear my dad calling me when I'm out with friends, but he's at work in another city. I still react to them out of reflex, but I eventually stopped yelling back or looking around. I still think I was just imagining it because, again, I'm in the middle of the city. I'm not going to go to McDonald's and think a mimic is calling for me. It's obviously going to be someone I know. But what I can't explain till this day is the following, and I know. It's probably the least creepy thing you'll ever hear. I was on my bed in the middle of the night working on a school project, and I vividly remember pushing my pillow down to my bed with my elbow. I remember feeling it brush against my arm and hearing a soft thud, and even feeling the cold part of the bed with my arm that was covering the pillow. That was covered by the pillow. Yet when I put my laptop down to grab the pillow, it wasn't there anymore. I turned to look down and nothing's there, neither my pillow nor even my bed sheets hanging down or anything. I stood up and searched the whole floor, under the bed, behind it, nothing. I actually never found my pillow again. Since that day, I didn't mind because it's just a pillow, but that itself made me very hypervigilant because what? My pillow? Am I next? I started imagining all the bad horror movies of a hand grabbing me from the bed and pulling me to wherever my pillow now was. Not sure if it's related, but I again just realized while writing this that I used to find it uncomfortable to look under or behind my bed even though I'm not scared easily. And now that my bed is in another corner of the room, I don't have that issue. But instead I can't look towards the corner where my bed previously stood and where my pillow went missing. Especially when I listen to your stories. I find it shocking right now. How much I actually try not to look in that corner subconsciously no matter where in the room I'm standing. The last ever story that ended all the creepy things was when I heard my mother's voice calling for me again. It was the clearest I'd ever heard it called for me, and it was during class when I knew for 100% that that was not her. I didn't react to it, even the slightest, and after that it never happened again. I would love to hear your opinion. I'm still surprised at just how much I subconsciously ignored. It sounds like there might be a portal right there in your room. Ugh. Something in there must have really liked that pillow. Which my brain's also going to like Fae. I don't know why. Maybe because Fae take things. But I don't know. As long as it didn't happen anymore, I wouldn't worry about it. But if it starts again, I would look into cleansings and banishments and things like that because I would cleanse your room regardless, especially that little area. Alright, let's read one more final story. This one's titled The Lady in Red. One night I had a nightmare of a lady in red. In this nightmare I was in bed with my sheets covering my eyes, which was kind of unusual since I don't dream of myself often, even in nightmares. But when they do involve me, I'm more self-aware and notice that I'm asleep. When I notice this, I suddenly feel a sense of dread, and I felt like I was being watched. That's when I get the sense that if I were to take off my sheets, something bad would happen. And this is all happening at night. Even though I knew this, I still took them off for some reason, and that's when I saw her. A woman with brunette hair wearing a dirty white sleeping gown standing at the end of my feet. Once her eyes came into contact, that dread feeling began to grow more and more. She started to float closer to me and I was terrified. I don't know why though, she wasn't scary in particular, but I knew if she wanted to hurt me, she could really mess me up. She started to float closer and closer to me. When she gets above me, she starts to change. Her dirty white gown turned to a crimson red dress flowing through the air, and her hair started to change from a dark brunette to orange with gold streaks, like fire. The dreadful feeling still grew inside me as she came closer, but for some reason she kind of gave motherly vibes, like she didn't mean any harm, but if I were to do something wrong, she'd hurt me. Once we came face to face, she disappeared in a cloud of red smoke, then I woke up. Like I said in the start of this, I don't really dream of myself a lot, and usually when I do, it's a nightmare, usually of me suffocating or falling to my death. So this was really unusual for me. What's your thoughts on this? That sounds like something was visiting you. You may be a deity or just an entity. I would look into it. I would research and I would look into that. I don't know. What do you guys think on that one? Kind of at a loss because I don't really feel like it was bad. I don't know. What do y'all think? Anyways, that is it for today. But you guys have a wonderful day and I will catch you tomorrow.